Zeke Lau, we've got to mention him quickly. What a performance. Getting it done without the big airs. He threw a couple of attempts down, but that power was just undeniable.
You know, Zeke is just such a special young man. I think this is a replay right here.
It's Michael Rodrigues, his first wave of the heat. Super explosive first turn option. Winds through a nice carve there. He's going to kick out of this one. Explosive beginning to this heat. Yago Dora also had a wave. Let's see how he fared.
Cracked it up through the lip right there. It looks nice and loose to start this thing out, which is great for Yago to come out of the gates kind of firing, you know, looking like he's confident and sure, and he's going to put up a mid-range and feel like he's ready to do some damage out here, which is the kind of surfing, you know, that will gain momentum throughout a heat. Going to gain strength and get comfortable in their own skin, and that's the kind of stuff that, you know, happens on tour. We're going to watch that evolve as these guys go through heats.
Ducklings that have already learned how to fly. Here we go, Yago Dora with some speed, and he's going to launch a full rotation. Almost plugs that thing. Amazing, and it's always going to be hard to stomp those big airs here at Karamas when the water's that turbulent.
Coming down with all that power against it, so we'll see what happens here with Rodrigues.
And both these guys coming off solid results over there in Brazil, making the quarterfinals. So getting themselves back up towards that top end. It was the second time that we've seen Michael Rodrigues reach that point in an event. I like the way he started this heat, the high impact landings that we're seeing these days.
Oh no, it's crazy. Just watching these guys and the landings that they're doing, they're tail tapping the landings. But here's Yago, here you go, Ronnie.
Driving up into this first section, he's been comboing some nice turns up already in this heat. Looking for something big on the inside to turn this into a pretty decent number. And a solid finish. A decision here to really wait for the best ramp opportunity to launch that move and stick into more traditional lines.
Well, right here, you know, the first wave of the heat, he did really well on tempo and pace. This wave, not so much. You can see him missing the lip line. And that is not easy. I mean, it's not easy to continually hit that mark, but you can see the pace on this wave a little off. And so, therefore, the score.
Out the back, meanwhile, Michael Rodrigues loading up. Popped it out of that ride.
High. And we got back to live action here where Rodrigues just keeps swinging on whatever he can. But, you know, this is something that's interesting about Yago is that his pace is pretty much, I think, the only thing he might really need to work on.
Some of the upset results throughout the season and the strong performances by these rookies, we're seeing these matchups more regularly. Michael Rodrigues up at the moment. So much speed out of the gates. This seems to come from nowhere. And he's in a position now with a couple of cars on this ride where he needs to really throw something explosive on the end section to turn it into a big number. It doesn't really happen for him. He did need a 5.83, but it's great watching these fresh exchanges, isn't it?
You can imagine going into a heat like this. You got two surfers from Brazil. You got basically teammates. These guys both ride Mayhem boards, so they're kind of really familiar with each other and what they do. And they know they kind of want to outdo each other in the heat. And it's whoever kind of goes out there and sticks to game plan, I think. You got to pull back a little bit.
Of that kind of just secret little setups that you can tap into here in Bali, that's for sure. Michael Rodrigues up during the break. Doesn't look like he's able to juice too much out of that ride. He's begging for a ramp to pop up, and that ramp just isn't coming his way. So he needs to really concentrate on these moves before those sections up here.
And, you know, he's definitely going to put it up there when the occasion arises. And it did right there. You know, it gave him the opportunity. He just pushed it out a little too far into the flat.
Yeah, that's right. I think positive is one word I hear Keanu using all the time. It looks like Yago's actually going to paddle into a wave right now, Ronnie. I'm going to let you take it away.
Well, took this one from pretty deep, drives around the section. Probably didn't tee off the way he would have liked on that first lip, but he can make up some points here. He's going to go to the air. Gets a little sticky on the roof, doesn't quite ride out of that turn. But just under 7 minutes to go, Yago Dora will still be holding on to the lead. Unlikely that he's going to up the requirement for Emrod here.
Yeah, you know, unfortunate for Yago that this wave didn't pan out the way you look at it. You know, you could kind of maybe talk to us about this, Keanu. When you're out in the lineup, identifying the good waves and really trying to find, you know, something that's going to offer up potential. Is it really hard to read the waves out there?
Yeah, it's definitely tricky, really tricky to kind of figure out which wave you want, something that will allow you to do variable turns and just kind of variety of turns. rather than just a wide one that you're going to get barreled on. So the conditions definitely switch up and it gets trickier.
Here goes Michael Rodrigues. Dumps the fins on that first turn. Just a transition move to set up this inside track. Tries to keep some speed, hoping that this wave does ramp up. It does give him something to work with. He's going to take to the air, whips that board so swiftly through the rotation. And there's the appeal. Please, come on, throw me the number. 5.8 required.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. That kind of surfing will just ignite you.
The explosive approach from Michael Rodrigues Strider. It does really remind you of Felipe, just how much speed he generates throughout his turns.
Look at this section. I mean, just belts it, fins out the back, and then goes for a lip line slide. Keeps the carve all the way back into the bowl. And I do like the downtime here. He really kept it quiet and then found that ramp on the inside. Crazy the pop and elevation he can find without a lot, you know, and given the look back there, that's confident.
How does he do it?
I don't know, man. I was just thinking like, okay, he needs to just finish this wave, and he went for a huge air. And I just couldn't believe that all he had to do was finish it. He needs a 5.83, and he went for the air. And that's the kind of surfing that you want to see from these young guys and the rookies, and they're going for it. You know, you've got last place in the last 5 events. Do you give up? No. You still got life. You're still on tour. You still got a lot of opportunities. And you know, I go into every event thinking I have $100,000 up for grabs.
You get yourself the lead. You seem to be in control, but if you leave someone like Michael Rodrigues chasing a big score, a small score, sorry, to get the lead, you're always going to be in danger. What did you make of that turn, Strider?
Honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I think you know, the pop was there, but then when he came around, the way he landed and kind of compressed oddly there, where you see where the tail ditched in, it wasn't a really clean landing. So I don't know if he's going to actually come away with the score required to take the lead. Off the end there, it didn't really clean up very much for him. So wave kind of let him down after.
Michael Rodrigues up once again, just trying to explode out of the pocket there. And does well to recover, and again, swift on the reverse on the end section. This is going to be close. There is only 20 seconds remaining. Yago Dora, unsure whether he's done enough to get the lead already. Sticks everything into this small right-hander, but that one's definitely not going to help improve his situation. Well, it was so close. It dropped in at a 5.77, but it wasn't quite enough for Yago Dora to turn the heat against Michael Rodrigues. He hangs on to the victory on the strength of the single highest scoring ride in that heat, that's 7.33.